We're live from Chevy Chase.
Welcome back. It's now time for our morning chat, and today we're chatting about pelvic floor health. Did you know roughly 1/4 of U.S. women have symptoms of at least one pelvic floor dysfunction? And if you're one of them, it can be a real hindrance. Joining us today to talk about ways to improve our pelvic floor health is physical therapist specializing in this area. Her name is Britt Colston. Welcome to the couch.
Hi, thank you, ladies. It's good to be here.
Well, I was eager to get you on because we're of a certain age, and this problem is becoming more and more prevalent. When you start talking to people, at first they don't want to talk about it, but we need to talk about it.
And that's the very biggest thing about just trying to get awareness, because the commonality of it is huge, to the point that people think it's normal. So then people don't even mention it, sometimes not even from the taboo of it, but just because it feels irrelevant. Everybody deals with it. So it's not something that we can do anything about or that there is treatment for, and that's not the case.
Okay. There is something we can do, right?
Yes.
And this is why you're here. You're going to talk about this. What can we do?
So physical therapy, or pelvic floor physical therapy, is really like you would think of any physical therapy. It's just the difference in these specialized and more, personal area of muscles. But the muscles are so important because they control bowel and bladder and sexual function, and those are huge quality of life issues that are a really important thing to make sure that you're staying healthy and making sure that everything is functioning well, and that you're not having issues that that can really impact your quality of life.
Right. So you've brought a great little display here.
Yeah.
And this is a pelvis.
This is a pelvis.
So if you're squeamish or something, you may want to close your eyes. I don't know, but we need to talk about it. So explain what the muscles are that you specialize in working on.
Yes, so the pelvic floor muscles attach from the pubic bone in the front. So you're looking straight onto this pelvis. This is our spine that would project up into the back. The pubic bone in the front, and then they swing down and attach to the tailbone in the back. And they go around the sphincter muscles, they go around the sphincter, and they help to control urine, gas, and stool. And those muscles, if there's any changes in function, can start to make that a little bit more difficult. And then you can also see here, there's organs up above. They also hold the pelvic organs up. So another common issue is a descent of those pelvic organs if we have an issue in the supportive function of those muscles. Yeah. And so that can sometimes occur as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that can happen with childbirth. Can aging and just gravity over time impact it?
There is definitely some degree of change in tissue as we age that can change a little bit of that support. But a lot of it also has to do with posture and the way that we breathe, funny enough. That's the biggest thing that I teach, to kind of help to normalize our system and how much pressure we put down on our pelvic floor muscles. Because they're at the bottom and supporting everything, depending on how we manage pressure, we can overextend that pressure down, and then that over time creates some laxity in the tissue because it's taking way more pressure than is ideal. Wow. So that's a really, really important concept that a lot of people aren't aware of that can really quickly change people's symptoms just by teaching them how to breathe correctly.
Wow, so a very simple process.
Absolutely.
So when people come to you, what do these sessions look like?
So we always start with an evaluation, and that includes taking a history of, like you mentioned before, childbirth history, whether they've had any vaginal deliveries or cesarean deliveries. And by the way, I'm speaking because I primarily treat women, but men have pelvic floors too.
They do. Yeah.
Men have issues. We all know that.
And they can certainly have issues as well. But any history of pain or any trauma, abdominal surgeries, anything like that, and then of course symptoms. So some people have only one symptom, but more than not, when it comes to pelvic floor, one thing can sometimes lead to another, and people have a lot of different issues, whether it's with bowel issues or bladder issues or pain with intimacy. And so a lot of times, if there is one of the more common, which this is another kind of thing that I think people don't recognize, is people think about weakness as pelvic floor being the issue, and that's why we leak. But a lot of times we find out that it's actually that the muscles are over-engaged. And so there's tension in the muscles, and that functionally makes the muscles weak over time, but it's not that they're truly weak, it's that that tension is limiting their ability to really turn on and off on command in the way that we need to do its job to control bowel and bladder.
Wow, there is so much more to this than I ever could have imagined. But there's hope, right?
There is hope, and the biggest thing is talking about it, just like this, is to being able to get the word out, being able to recognize that it is common but not normal, and just trying to, you know, look up somebody that you can find in your area that specializes it, and take that step. It's a brave step to take, you know, to walk in and, you know, explain what you have going on, and to trust that.
And we all want to live our best lives. And
That's
it's the new year, and we're thinking about how to improve our health.
Yeah.
Why not think about your pelvic floor health? It's so important.
Yes, it really
Thank you, Britt.
is.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, ladies.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
all of the information for Britt is up on the screen. Reach out if you need some help.